Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar, and Christine Lagarde's talking, and we're actually testing the top end of this of the wedge. The euro looks like it's going to break out here, so I just want you guys to keep in mind that it looks bullish. I'm gonna wait and see how the market reacts, because what I'm more worried about, it's not necessarily the euro. I'm more worried about actually the S&P right now, or the markets in general. The S&Ps look a little weak this morning, so I kind of want to see how the markets shake out. But I think that if you want to play the euro, one of the better ways to play it, I think at the moment, you could obviously play the euro dollar, but maybe is the euro Aussie. Maybe the euro Kiwi, maybe even the euro sterling bounce. I think those are the better ways to play the euro at the moment. But it does look like the euro dollar wants to break out. So let's go ahead and see where those targets might bring us today. So the euro currently, let's just go ahead and take that. 38% retracement comes in at 118.36. 618 is going to be at basically 119, 118.90. So let's write that down, 118.90. I'm going to take us off of bearish. Okay. I'm going to take us off of bearish and put us in range, because we're breaking out of this wedge. So we have to be respectful of that. Like I said, by the end of the day, it might be back to a bearish trend. I'm not 100% sure. We'll obviously have to, kind of play it by ear, but I think that's going to try to break out. While we're above 117.50, we have to be respectful of that. 117.50, that's key. Okay. Sterling, pound continues to break higher, but we are at the 618 retracement. Matter of fact, we're at previous support as well, and that all comes in at 138. I am going to keep the cable on range as well because of the false breakdown overnight. I did get stopped out of my trade. I tried trading it yesterday. My average was at 136.60. I got stopped out. I was trying to swing trade it, hopefully, hoping this would reject and push right back down, but it didn't. So yeah, I ended up giving up some of my gains from this last week, which is unfortunate. Anyway, needless to say, we're pushing up against resistance here. Support should be any dip back down to 137. Probably these little hourly resistance support levels will come back in right around here, about 136.90. So I'm going to write that down. If you see any dip back down towards the 137 level, I think buyers are going to be looking for. There are going to be buyers down at those levels later today if we revisit those levels. The Aussie's heading up towards the resistance here at 74. We had written 74 yesterday, the low here being 74.09. So I'm actually going to be a little bit more granular and put 74.10 is resistance. It is still bearish. Okay, we are working off the oversold conditions. As a matter of fact, we might see some more overbought intraday indicators are starting to peak up. Like you can see this hourly RSI, so you got to be a little careful chasing the Aussie up here. Do I think that it'll be supported today on dips? Yeah, actually I do. I think that these levels right here at this 73.40 should offer support. So 73.40, and then below that will be obviously 72.90, which we have been writing down. Will be support. Kiwi, we've had Kiwi in range, and notice where we're at. And now this is at risk of breaking out. So let's talk about this for a second. You might ask, well, why do I say it's at risk of breaking out? Well, the problem is that we had a false breakdown here. I don't know if this is developing a descending wedge, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because if it's a wedge and we had a false breakdown, then, we get above, we get much above 70 cents and this thing's gone, right? So support, these previous lows, you can see those are all, that'll probably hold on dips. So the intraday low is at 69, let's call it about 69.40, right? shoot, sorry, 69.40, 70 cents is resistance. And okay, let's take a step back for a moment and let's go to yesterday, right? So let's go to yesterday and just know that for the last 2-3 weeks or so, if I'm not mistaken, the Kiwi has outpaced the Aussie ever since actually the RBNZ. So the reason why I point that out is because it will be the first pair to flip to bullish, in my opinion, if we break above 70. So if we break above, and that makes a lot of sense based on what we've seen. Now, one thing that I think you have to be a little cognizant of with, when you're dealing with the Aussie or the Kiwi is, we got to watch stocks. I mean, we had a big bounce in equities this week, from this little false break. But you start looking at like the NASDAQ, it's looking like a little, head and shoulder ish if we hold these. Same with the S&P. So just be careful about being long risk at this moment, because, if the stock market does pull back a little bit here, going Thursday, Friday, whatever, into the end of the week, we are at risk of, having the dollar firm up again. And then, if you're thinking, oh, I want to be long the Kiwi, well, maybe that's not going to work out so well if we start to see a reversal in equities, right? So just think about that. Just think about that for the next, for a little bit here. Okay. Let's go over to next dollar CAD. Okay, so the loonie is coming into channel support here, or I say channel support. It's, I'm kind of looking at it very similar to the US dollar Norwegian krona. Okay, which that's the whole reason why I picked up long today. It dipped right back below 80, but I picked it up near the lows today. So the dollar Canadian, is trading heavy, but we should have some support down here. So let's figure out where that's at. There's the low. Here's the high. Really aggressive move yesterday. Yesterday's lows came in at 125.20. I'm going to write down support today being 125 and then 124.65. So 124.65 and then 125 will be supports. If you guys are looking for the dollar Canadian, maybe to pick it up on the cheap, maybe a dip below 125 might give you that opportunity, something like this, where maybe this channel support is actually like that versus, I have it drawn at this low, this spike low, which matches up pretty much with these spike highs over here. But, what's to say we can't just test that spike low and create another low right here. And then that becomes a very formidable channel support. So that's why I'm giving you a couple options here, just in case we continue to see dollar weakness. Look, the euro's, pushing up against resistance, same as the sterling, the cable is. So, we can definitely see a little bit more weakness in the Canadian today. Now, a move back above 126 would signal that we're probably keeping this channel in place. So I do want to keep this in bulk. Oh, dude, I did not want to do that. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I do want to keep this in bullish for now. Okay. I know we're back below the 200-day moving average, but remember, we've been building a base, guys. I mean, what can happen in the dollar Canadian over the course of the next couple of weeks is, we could see a move back down towards 123, 124. But I think overall, we're building this big base. Remember, we've respected the 120 level, 121, excuse me. We did a false breakdown. I still believe you want to play the dollar Canadian on the long side over the course of the next days or weeks ahead. You know what I mean? Not necessarily intraday today, You know, I got run over yesterday. I'm going to be very careful about trying to buy this thing on dips, but I do want to play it on the long side over the next couple of weeks. I do think that crude oil has shown a near-term top here in the mid 70s, right? So, like I said, I do want to be buying dips in the dollar Canadian. I just don't know if today is the day that you necessarily want to buy that dip. Okay, so anyway, those are my thoughts there. Swissy. So the Swissy, same as it ever was. What is that? Is that Talking Heads? What song is it? Same as it ever was. Is that Talking Heads? Is that who that was?
That is Talking Heads, yes.
God, look, I'm so 80s. I am so 80s. All right.
Time to show the skateboard picture again.
Oh no. Same as it ever was. All right. No. We got a lot of new traders here. They don't need to see me on a skateboard, you know, when I was skated for Vans. Back in 1985. Here's the dollar Swiss. So obviously we're more concerned about 92.70, but I think this channel's holding. So 92.40, 91. I'm not touching it.
Can't touch this.
Oh man, look at you whipping out the MC Hammer. That's awesome.
Since we're going back in time,
Since
right?
we're going in the time machine, yeah. Why not? All right. Okay. So here's the Norwegian krona. Yeah, and I'm playing this channel support, and this is very similar to the Canadian. Can we dip further? Sure, we can. We could dip all the way back down here to 7 or 70s. I think 73. Like I think this support can come into play. I did put in a pattern in play because, like I told you, I think that we are on a confluence of supports. We got a 38% retracement from this low here to the high. There's a 38% retracement. We were respecting it. We have support on the cup and handle breakout. We have channel support, which could be viewed down here, but it's hard to say at the moment. We have to see how we pivot today. But I think that, anywhere between 873 to like 8, where we're currently at 878 is going to offer us support. And I still believe we're bullish. I know we've come off pretty aggressively, but that's to be expected after such a big move. I mean, this is a huge move off of the lows percentage wise. I mean, you think about what we did here, and stocks are still at all-time highs. We had an 11% move. That's big, for the currency market. So, obviously now you're probably going to see sellers on rallies at 890, but it doesn't stop the fact that we had a big move, and we're just seeing a little bit of a correction in a bullish trend at current. Okay. Dollar Mexican peso holding up very well. Stocks are near all-time highs, and the dollar Mexican peso continues to be bid. You have to respect that, guys. Don't, disregard that. I think it's important to understand that the dollar Mexican peso is holding up well. You doesn't mean you got to play the dollar Mex. You can play the Euro Mexican peso. And I think this is a good, you look at the longer term in the Euro Mex, and we're a channel support, right? So, the dollar Mex is obviously, basing, and this is still very much a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. So the 200-day moving average is capping. And so 2025 continues to be resistance. That was yesterday's highs. I think Craig in the chat room sold it at 2025. Great read there. But I still think that it's very well bid. So you have to, again, be very respectful of that. Let's go over to... Let's see, support today will probably be down here, which will be 20. Obviously, there's support below that as well, but I think 20, whoops, did I say 2020? I meant 20 will be support. I think that's what we had for yesterday as well. We're going to keep that in range. Dollar yen, as I've explained to you guys, I really don't have a good read on the dollar yen. I think it's being pulled between yields and equity markets. And so like the move last night, or maybe late in European trade, or early in North American trade, let's just put it that way. This sell-off in the dollar right here, like, came out of nowhere. I don't even know what's driving it at this point. So obviously we have resistance at 1040. That's a 50% retracement. I thought the 618 was going to come into play, but it obviously is not. So it looks like this 50% retracement. Support's going to be, I had support is 110, but I'm going to actually say that we can dip to, well, I guess it is 110. We could probably dip all the way down to 109.80, and 109.80, 110. Is it 110.40? Was that it? 110.40. Hold on, let me just double check that. 40 is it. Okay. 109.80, and then obviously below that would be a retest of the trend line, below that at 109, but I don't think we're getting down there today. I don't think we're getting anywhere close to that today. I'd be surprised if we did for some reason. You just have to know, well, I might as well write it then. 109. There you go. Just so you have it. Whoops. Put that in the wrong spot. 109. Here we go. Okay. Let's go to the dollar index. So the dollar index, so we talked about it yesterday, and this is talked about this during the daily roundup right here, and end of day analysis of the dollar comes out of the wedge lower. We could see channel support at 92.40. Well, here we are. So support today will be 92.40, 36, 35. I'm going to write down 92.40. And the fact of the matter is, I have to flip us back into range because for a couple of reasons. We could not sustain a break above that resistance, at least not yet. And it's still a lot of time left in today, guys. If we sit here and we just write off the dollar right now, I think that's a little, it's a little premature. Obviously things have been happening. The markets, the volatility has been picking up a little bit, so we have to kind of wait till we see daily closes here. But I do think that the 93 is remaining as really, really good resistance. And I am going to keep us on range for now. And I'm going to say this to you guys that are new, you guys and gals that are new. Look, there's nothing more I love in the FX market when I'm looking at a bias chart that is biased. One of the things that's most frustrating is when things start popping back into range again, based on our analysis. And when you start to see all this yellow, for me, it's like a stark warning that we are, entering in a very challenging, whippy environment. So whenever I flip everything over to, bullish or, whatever, that's when things start to, hey, what the hell has happened here with the, you guys notice the dollar max is just spiking. Stocks come off. Yeah, look at that. Lorraine said unemployment rose. Yeah, it really hasn't been affected by economic data. I mean, even look at the Banxico meeting. I think it's just flows coming in right at the open. I think that's all it is, but just be respectful. Of the dollar max, I have to point out, I'm just going to reiterate, especially, and by the way, if you guys don't know, we call her Salma. Do you know why we call her Salma? Salma Hayek, because she's like, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful Latino women I've ever seen in my life. And by the way, I'm going to have my 17-year-old son We're in movie watching mode because my youngest son and my wife are out in Wisconsin for a goalkeeper, nationwide goalkeeper training. My son's a goalkeeper, for those of you that are, footballers. And he's a pretty good one too. But my oldest son and I are going to watch Desperado tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He loves action. So it's anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
right. We watch it for the action.
I totally watch it for the action. Okay, that's a lie. All right. So dollar index. Let's I just covered it. And I got the numbers. So let's go gold, Bitcoin, S&P, and we'll be done. So the S&P, again, I'm going to reiterate one of the things that worries me a little bit about the stock market is we had a pretty big bounce, we had a big bounce off of the wedge support, but everything's starting to stall and we might set up some head and shoulder patterns. So that's why I think you need to start paying a little bit of attention up here as we're near the highs. I'm going to mark up, obviously, just the 4,400 level as resistance. Support is at, I don't want to write down 4,250. I'll write 4,300 today, but we got Jackson Hole next month. It's still bullish, but just start getting a little bit more defensive, I think. Look at the dollar CAD. Go, dollar NOK. It's your birthday. Go ahead. Go ahead. Dude, why is the dollar ripping right now? Any ideas? I mean, the dollar just took off. I mean, first of all, I sold some Aussie just a little while ago. If you're in the chat room, you knew this. But I sold some Aussie on this approach because I feel that we're doing this. We're bearish. It's a little bear market rally in a very bearish trend. Again, all-time highs in stocks, and the Aussie's trading at 73 cents and below the 200-day moving average. Go figure, right? So I don't know. Hold on really quick. Let me make a couple adjustments. Okay. I'm going to get through this analysis so Steve and Stellius can take over really quick on gold and silver and Bitcoin. Man, what happens if silver breaks this support? I mean, I know we've talked a lot about it, but it's not bouncing, and he who does not bounce, or she who does not bounce. Oh man, I'm going to say some things that I probably shouldn't say, so I'm not going to. Steve, stop! You just went like that.
Not my fault.
Still going in the gutter. 25.50.
You opened the bag of worms.
I didn't mean to. I totally didn't mean to. It's Thursday. I'm tired. It's been a long week, and it's not even over. 1834 is resistance. 1755 key support. 17. You guys know that. Nothing's changed here. It's 1835. And Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, thing is we're probing up against this. This is a descending trend line. You can see it's respecting it pretty well, right? I'll go right to the tip of the candle there, and we're just hugging it. So that means this 32,900 is resistance, 32,900. Then beyond that is 36,500, right? Those are the numbers we've had. Stay bearish. My opinion is we have to stay bearish while we're in this channel, and especially below the 200-day moving average, but we could pop all the way back to 42K and I'd still be bearish, right? I just think we can, you know, if we get above the 33, like if we get above 33K today, then we go back in a range just near term. But then as we get closer to 40,000, I'd, you know, have to flip to bearish. That's the way I'd view Bitcoin right now. Okay. And we know that 28.6 is key. All right. All right, guys. So there you go. Bias charts finished. Steve Stelios, I'm going to let you take over. I really have to take a break. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. And Simon goes, how to make your son feel awkward? It's okay, Dad. I'll watch this later. No, that was American Pie. You do not watch that movie with your son. Highly recommend that never happens. But Desperado, hell, man, it's an action. It's an act, and it's got hot woman in it. Beautiful, most beautiful Latino woman I've ever seen in my life.
Top 3 in my books.
Top 3. There we go. Oh no, let's stay off this conversation.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I don't want to ask what's number 1 and number 2 still. Yeah.
Yeah. Have
you
a good
is
one.
you are number 1.
See you later. All right. See you guys. Hey,
Okay,
just
we have Grega.
wait. One last thing, guys. Just so you know, and I don't know if it just got posted, but that
it did. Just now.
It did. Okay, so the Trader Summit.
It's on the hero banner at the top as well.
Oh my gosh. There we go. What a great interview. Guys, watch this interview. I had a fun time doing it. There are so many trading nuggets that come from Brent in this 50-minute interview. Enjoy every minute of it. Grab some popcorn and enjoy it. I'm going to watch it over again. So, I mean, even though I lived it, I can't wait to watch it myself. Okay. Not because I want to see me. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, mate. Bye. Grega.
Hey, guys.
Hey, mate.
Hello.
How have you been?
Hey.
My favorite Croatian.
Hey, Grega. Sorry. I just want to say hi. Okay. Bye.
Hey. Bye. Hey and bye. How are you guys?
He's not
Your
Croatian.
favorite what?
My
He's
favorite
not Croatian. He's
Croatian.
Slovakian.
Been in Croatia like a month back or so on vacation.
It's beautiful.
Planning another one in August if we will be allowed to go. Anyhow.
Yeah, I have to
Nice.
tell you that my only experience of Croatia has been coming from Germany back to Athens by car. The same trip I stopped by and we spent a few hours together, Grega, in Slovenia. And I didn't go through the seaside, of course, of Croatia. I know it's like very nice for tourists, etc. But I mean,
it's very similar to Greece, actually.
The highway through the mainland and everything around it was just so much Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It was like a drive back to time like decades ago. I mean, it was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the seaside is a little bit different.
Yeah, I know. It's developed. It's a completely different thing. I know, mate. They
live from tourism, so of course that's their main.
So, why don't you grab the screen and tell us what you think of the price action we've just experienced during the past few days, and if this has in any way changed your technical bias about what's happening here, although I'll in advance say that I doubt it, right?
Yeah, you know yourself that we were both looking for those retracements that were quite deep, we must admit, but still, I mean, these reversals that occurred in the last 2 days, I think that this give us quite a nice confidence that we could be looking for much higher prices in the next few trading days, especially if we just stay in this risk on sentiment across the board tomorrow and Friday. I think that this would form some very nice reversal patterns on especially yen crosses. So I will continue to look for more upside if we go through just some of the crosses to give you the perspective. Now here I'm looking on Euro Yen, seeing a very nice deep pullback. We have seen a retracement for more than 50%, but stopped at these swing lows from March. So still very nice support. Even if we just stay bullish for limited period of time, I still think that there is a chance for more upside, since a bounce, as you can see here on the 4-hour chart, is looking to be in 5 waves. So also we are breaking here this first trendline resistance of this channel within an ABC structure. So I think that there is a chance that actually we will see a breakout of the upper trend line. So in my opinion,
yeah, all of the yen pairs, to be honest, had like very nice reversals. Yes, and some of them after producing some short-term false breakdowns. If you were monitoring at the descending channels, for example, Aussie yen is one that I think probably
was one of the weakest. Yes.
Yeah, and probably tricked a number of people being short at probably the worst time of.
Yeah, the weakest was probably because of the lockdowns. I think that they are still in lockdown, right?
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, they have something like 120 cases per day. So I'm assuming that's going to be enough to have them in lockdown for like 10, 12 years, I assume.
Yeah, so so maybe that's the reason for Aussie to be one of the weakest. But if even this weak currency and based on situation is now turning higher, then we can really assume that at least temporary lows are in. Here we have, for example, pound yen coming down very nicely towards the lower trendline support in the same area where we have this horizontal support here around 148. So I think that there is room for more upside. Also very nice bounce from equality level. From this support level, not equality level. The fifth support level also in 5 waves. We are now making an overlap quite deeply here with this wave B. So this gives me an impression that this is not bearish impulse, but rather a reversal. So even this one, I think has a very solid structure. Now, CAD-yen was probably one of the strongest. This one also has seen a very nice bounce from the former support here of wave 4. Looks like it's building bullish impulse as well. So even this one suggests more upside. What I really like when looking at this one is that crude oil has also turned higher. So if we look at
that's one of the markets I really wanted us to talk about.
Crude oil?
Yeah. Do you believe it was like a 335 type of correction that's over?
Actually, what I have been looking for, if we first look at the daily, is that I still assume that maybe market completed this 5-wave advance. Okay, but I have to respect that a drop that occurred is made only in 3 waves. So we either will rally in 3 waves for a wave B that could be part of a complex correction, or maybe this was a completed wave 4 and we are going higher with 5 waves. But in either case, I think that there is room to make money on the upside after pullbacks. So either we rally here into a 3rd leg only, or maybe will this recovery continue into a 5-wave structure. But in either case, I think that 75 could be seen. If we also look at the hourly chart here, that's probably the most important structure, at least for the short term. We have 5 waves up here, meaning more upside after this setback in 3 waves. And this gives me quite a nice bullish confidence into CAD pairs. Also, if you look on dollar CAD, we are turning down aggressively there as well, meaning more weakness. So I will have this CAD yen dollar CAD on my watch list for the next few trading days. Also, as you said yourself on ASEAN, like we have seen this failed breakdown, well, maybe something similar could be forming here on crude oil as well, who knows. So what is the most important at the moment is that we have still an uptrend, and that the recent consolidation was made in 3 waves. So for now, I just have to respect this. Since I mentioned dollar CAD, here is this drop that I'm looking at, very sharp one. It could be only part of this 3 wave weakness, but still it's an ongoing weakness, meaning more downside could be seen towards 2420, maybe even 2300 here. So looking for more weakness on dollar CAD as well. Since we are touching the dollar here, let me look at dollar index. I've been sharing this one on Monday in our chat room, and I said that despite the very strong moves here on US dollar, we have to consider a few things. The first one is that we were seeing prices in a 5th wave. The next thing is that this 5th wave came out of a triangle. Now, triangle always occurs prior to the final move within a higher degree trend. So it means that this was expected to be a final move. And also we had this wedge pattern building here as well. So it was quite clear that this market is losing strength. So the reversal that we are seeing right now, it's quite interesting, especially after ECB, we are seeing these prices coming down. And if we can stay and see a daily close above or below that trend line, then I think that we will experience more weakness. Even if just short term for another 3-wave structure rather than a 5-wave movement, still, I think that this will be quite a nice indication for risk on, for stocks to see even more upside. Keep in mind that stocks recovered quite well despite dollar index still testing these resistance levels. So if dollar index is going to see a drop, I think that stocks will see much more upside. Same thing with crude oil, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if we touch the euro dollar, that's obviously a very similar wedge here. Looking at the daily chart, the idea is that we either completed this flat correction. Let me label this one with an ABC structure, or maybe we'll continue consolidating, maybe later even for a triangle. But the point is that, again, 5 waves down suggests a corrective rally, minimum corrective rally, ideally maybe something more aggressive to the upside. Also, cable, I think it's very interesting. I also been paying attention to this box here and was hoping on a very similar price action like we have seen here back in June, where everyone were expecting continuation higher. Market stopped here with a failure break and rather take us to the completely other side of this range. And now something similar is going on right here. Again, clearing out some stops, trying to reverse. And so far, this appears to be like a very nice bullish impulse. So again, I think that there is room for more upside. Watch out maybe for some intraday pullbacks. And then I think that this broken trend line can take us even back towards 1.4, if not higher. So cable is also something that I would look for. Found overall, it's picking up quite nicely, and it's one of the strongest for the last 24 hours or so. Also, you have here this reversal from, I believe that's 200 daily moving average. So if we respect this, I always somehow try to focus on this, then maybe we are now going to see a rally back to 50 and 100 moving average. But based on the Elliott Wave whole structure that I'm looking at, ideally, we are going to complete this corrective pullback here for a wave 4.
Yeah, so bottom line across the board, from what I see, you think that it is a very high probability that we've already seen.
If not major low here for big coming moves, at least temporary low for a 3-wave corrections. Because you know that even if this would be, let's say, a 3-wave rally, an ABC, and then we see another drop, let's say that this, let me do that. Let's say that this is wave 1, you will see a wave 2 and then more weakness. Well, yeah. Even then
it's a more complicated, yeah. We're looking at a more complicated type of correction, right?
Yes, and even in such case, I mean, when correction is completed, the price is expected to retrace back to the area of a former wave 4, which is around 1.39. So that would be your minimum objective. If you see price rallying with 5 waves and not with 3 waves into this area, then this would give you a lot of confirmations actually that market is turning or making a turning point, a very strong one, rather than just slowing down for a correction. Okay, so let's take a look also on gold. So gold is still, it's trapped here in this range. The most important is probably this 2019 trendline support, still holding quite well here. So I favor the idea of a triangle ABCDE. And if we consider that dollar could be headed lower or maybe just slowing down for a correction, then this could give some support to gold. And ideally, we will see a rally into wave C of D towards the upper side of the range. So maybe some short-term supports are very near here around 1790, maybe 1780 levels, where you have the 61.8%. So as long as we are above 1750, I think that there is a chance this market to continue consolidation. If we break this level, then at the same time, this trend line would also be taken out. And then
we're talking about the alternative count that has a lower low before we can continue
around
higher.
1600, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Silver, not the same type of formation, but I still think we are in a big symmetrical triangle. I don't know if you...
Maybe you look at gold versus silver. Now here we are rallying at the moment, but we are approaching the upper side. So when this market will turn around, when this ratio will give us maybe an indication that we stopped at the resistance, then that's the bullish case actually for metals in general, because silver will maybe rally a lot more in percentage compared to gold, obviously.
Okay, having to do with equities, how do you... Okay, I see you think we are in an ascending...
Yeah, I have to consider this. Yes,
yeah,
I mean,
no, I'm with you. I mean, price action really looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, but even if I have here this wedge, an ending diagonal, there is still a room even with acceleration to make a throw over for a wave 5 of 5 towards 4500, even maybe even higher. So for now, I still, even if this looks like a very bearish interpretation for the short term, with what I've been saying on US dollar and yen crosses, where we are expecting at least 3 wave recovery, I think this one goes very nicely with stocks, because here we are also expecting at least 3 wave recovery. That's the final stages of an ending diagonal, because in ending diagonal, each leg should be made by
3 legs.
Yes, and so far this is only 1 leg. So I think that this pullback, the upcoming one, could actually be suggesting more upside. I would be looking or comparing the upcoming pullback to the previous consolidation here that we have seen in these final stages of recovery. So for now, I still think that even if resistance may not be far away, we still have to bring new highs. So let's stick with this for now.
No, I'm with you. I mean, always respecting the trend is always the smartest idea.
Yeah. So if we look at DAX here, again, maybe much better visualization here on a daily chart. So that was your wave 1, 2, nice wave 3, and this wave 4 pullback. It stopped at this trend line connected from last year March lows. So I think that there is a chance for more upside here, since a drop was made by 3 waves. So I'm definitely bullish here as well, and this could be quite supportive for euro in general.
What do you think about Bitcoin getting saved at the last moment after like short-term breaking through 30,000?
Just a second.
What do you think about the price action there and in Ethereum?
Yeah, I will share screen.
We just got data, by the way, US existing home sales. Nothing to report there. I mean, came as expected. And EU consumer confidence worse than expected, but I doubt that any of that is going to move the market.
Okay, so last time I posted on Twitter this one, the Bitcoin inflows. Where is the chart? Into a lot of into exchanges. So this, on the first glance, this appears to be like a very bullish indication, but actually it's not. Okay, because if you, a lot of investors, especially investors longer term, who are obviously very important for Bitcoin in general, will hold their Bitcoins in their private keys, private wallets. But if they move them to exchanges, well, probably they have reason for that. It means that maybe they will do some transactions, exchange for something else, right? Yep. So this is usually not a bullish indication like it sounds, but it's a bearish one.
But
okay,
bearish,
so
yeah.
I still doubt that market actually is headed straight up from here. But we are approaching some interesting supports for sure. If we look at Bitcoin here, okay, here I have it. Now, we either are going to see this wave 4 completed as a triangle and we see a final break to the downside, or maybe if we just ignore the wave counts and you're looking for a wedge here, maybe you're expecting the final touchdown and then a reversal. So in either case, I think that there is room for more weakness towards 25, maybe even 23,000, maybe to shake out all of the longs that were built since yesterday after Elon Musk said that they will probably resume to offer Bitcoin payments with Tesla. So even if we have seen some positive mood, still nothing aggressive, it would be just too easy for market to play such a very nice reversal from here after one tweet or two tweets from someone who is important, you know. So I still think that market will test those weak hands a few times before really maybe trying to bottom. But ideally, we'll see a rally.
I agree 100% with you. I do think that the market is going to test, the nerves of the bulls. Yeah.
So overall, of course, we have seen very nice and deep pullbacks on cryptocurrencies, and longer term, maybe there are some altcoins that could be very interesting if we consider that we have seen a retracement for 70-80%, which based on cycles appears to be quite interesting level, maybe if you're looking for a longer term investment. But based on the short term perspective, we just don't have enough of evidence to say that this wave B rally is already underway. Also, looking at the Ethereum, here we also have this ongoing consolidation. It's a clear triangle.
Yeah, a B.
Yes, in wave B. So again, I think limited upside. Okay, even if I would somehow try to label the bullish wave count, that I would be forcing wave count to the bullish case, then I would be looking for an ABC recovery towards 2,500, maybe even towards these levels here back from start of June. But overall, I think that upside again could be limited.
Speaking about ABC recoveries and bringing you back to the FX universe, did we finish perfect or almost perfect ABC recoveries with B being triangles in USD CAD and USD NOK?
USD NOK, let me check.
Because they both hit my targets, and I like the reversal that has followed, that I've started seriously thinking about resorting USD NOK.
Well, dollar NOK has came, we must say, quite high compared to maybe
it
Mexican
has been
peso.
A strong rebound. Yeah.
Yes, or or cat. So I'm looking at this as a 5-wave movement, maybe for a wave A, but now we could be in a wave B to make a deeper pullback here. So in such case, I would be looking for a retracement back towards 8.5, 8.4, 45 level around there in the near term, with the context of overall dollar view that I'm expecting, obviously in the near term, are reversal on the XY.
So you're expecting a stronger rebound to fully retrace the previous descending wedge that you've marked there back to
I mean, that would be a textbook
50,
scenario.
whatever it is. Yeah. 950 if I see right. 955, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay, what about USD CAD? Same deal, I assume, because they're very similar with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I labeled here this 5-wave recovery, but as I said earlier, now, at least in the short term, we have this ABC still unfolding.
And
so
then,
for now,
yeah, okay.
In the near future, we have to stick with this bearish bias.
Okay, perfect. So let's see what questions people might have for you. So guys, girls, ask away. We have Grega with us roughly once per week, so this is your opportunity. We already have a question for you, by the way, from Amira. He wants you to have a look at Moderna. The ticker name is mRNA.
Look. Moderna, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the charts, right?
No, we still see the FX ones, yeah. Now we do. Obviously, a very bullish trend overall. There's no question about that.
Yes. This looks like a triangle here.
Yep.
Then you have this. So maybe a 5th wave extension.
Daily RSI at 83 at the moment, so definitely very overdone in the short term. There's no question about it. I mean, yeah, I would not be chasing up here no matter what.
Yes, it's too high.
Yeah, it went
what
too
is
high.
This gap here? The only question is maybe your earnings or something.
No, that was not earnings, mate. It wasn't. It wasn't earnings. That gap. It was a runaway gap without any apparent, thing behind it.
Okay, so let me just try to project here. Potential
Either that, or perhaps we can even have another triangle, I guess, in the shorter term there, right?
Yes, maybe, but it's a little bit too soon to say that.
Yeah.
That would be a very nice support here.
Yeah,
even this gap.
Exactly. What I told Amira yesterday, I was bullish since we broke through the triangle and I was looking for higher levels. But what I told him yesterday is that at some point we should see a pullback, and filling the gap might be the perfect target of that pullback.
Yep. So that's the support, of course. The first one is at the wave A here, a little bit below 300, and then you have this 260.
Mm-hmm. Before we resume the upside, most likely than not.
maybe that's even wave 3 up here rather than a wave 5.
Yes, a very extended like wave 3. Yeah, might be.
Yes.
Because there is definitely a lot of strength behind this.
But if we drop here below this into this wave 1 range, then I think that we are probably done.
Yeah, although I doubt it from the price action at the moment. I think we're headed higher after some kind of a consolidation or pullback here. Okay, nice. There is a question about euros, and the question specifically is, how much higher do you think the current impulse in euro could go in the 1 hour chart? That was the exact question. And in general, to be honest, it's not a bad idea to give us your outlook on these crosses like euro. You know, they had a little overthrow. I was monitoring at these choppy overlapping channeled rebound higher as they were unfolding, and I was kind of surprised that we had this, you
Such
know,
a strong moves, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was all within the context of especially accelerated risk off that we have seen on Monday. But if stocks are going to recover and stay supported, stay above that
those
Monday
should
lows,
turn lower again.
Yes, I think that this euro Aussie will also stop at this resistance, which after all, it's quite nice here at 1.6 level, especially if you look back at the previous lows here from 2009, 2020, then of course this appears that market is respecting these levels here. So if we look at the smaller time frame, I was looking and referring to this potential triangle, ending diagonal. Okay, this with maybe with a throw over here for a wave 5, but these throwovers are quite tricky. They are not so common as well, so you really have to be careful here. But if we finish the week back in this range, okay, back
then that's a bearish signal.
trend line, then this would be marked and confirmed as a throwover, meaning more weakness should then follow.
And the same applies, of course, to Euro, Kiwi, Pound, Aussie, Pound, Kiwi. They all look more or less the same.
Yes, very, very similar, actually.
You know, another one that's a little bit tricky, by the way. We don't have a question about it, but you know, I was looking at it again today. Euro Pound has been quite a tricky one. We were in hibernation for a very, very solid period of time. I mean, we were in essence in hibernation since mid-April, and we got like a short-term like explosion higher. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's very tricky after this.
I know it is.
I mean, if we can still hold this support, this low, I should say, at 85. Then I think that there is still a chance actually for this market to recover. But overall, I mean, if we consider that cable has moved sharply to the upside, euro as well against the US dollar, then, and if these two markets are going to stay in these positive correlations, then I think that it's better maybe to look at those opportunities there rather than here on euro.
Yeah, then try to play the cross. Yeah, I agree with you, especially with how choppy it now looks after this
and also
higher end retracement.
Yes, also what is important to look for is that this euro pound weakness came after a bottom on cable and euro. So if we expect more upside on euro dollar and cable, then either this euro pound will stay consolidating or maybe even bearish. So based on this intermarket analysis, may not be the best one actually to look on the long side. But if we can recover by the end of the week, let's say back close to these weekly highs, then it still have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one of the first things that somebody has to master when they want to be trading, at least successfully trading, is immediately walk away from any market that doesn't look really clean, right? Really obvious. I mean, why force yourself to take a trade in a market that doesn't really inspire, you know, something, you know, right?
Exactly.
So why force yourself to trade euro pound currently and not just give it more time and trade something else?
Actually, I like this one. this
The possibility of a wave 4 triangle, huh?
Yes, especially because I'm looking at these weekly charts here, and maybe we are now on the way towards the lower side of the range.
Might be the case, because that's a huge support area. If I remember right, it's at 82.80. Do I remember right? I remember it by heart. 82.80,
yes.
Is it? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a huge level.
Yes, I will actually make sure to post this chart on the page in the next few days.
Guys, girls, this is your last chance. Any more questions for Grega before we wrap it up? Zoom, ZM.
Yeah, this one looks bullish, I know.
Yeah, it does. It has broken out, right?
Yeah, just I think
Bye-bye, Alexander.
Stocks. I think I have it somewhere here. They really should bring a new feature here on TradingView where I can search only on watch list.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea.
It's so annoying where I have a lot of markets here.
Yeah, same here. I track like, I don't know, 70 markets, something like that.
Okay, so here is Zoom. I'm looking at very nice pullback in 3 ways.
We still see Euro pound, mate.
Oh.
Okay, perfect. Now we can see Zoom. Yeah, that's exactly the formation I was looking at. And, I told Amira that most likely we've already broken out. We've already seen the low, most likely.
Yes, it looks very, very nice, actually. I think that more upside here is in the cards. And with the stocks, like acting for the last few days, I think that this one is looking quite good.
Add to the mix that we've had during the past few days, we've had, some worries that the Delta variant might cause COVID issues again, which of course that would, immediately be bullish for Zoom and all the equivalent platforms, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us, Grega. The rest of you, see you tomorrow. Don't forget to join Blake for the daily roundup in 2 hours and 10 minutes from now. And I'll see you again tomorrow for the last day of the week. Bye-bye. Bye, Grega.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.